who aren't able to attend today. I will also start the summary um, to keep notes about what we talk about. So once again, thank you all for coming. This is the AI Enhanced Curriculum Design Workshop that is being put on by the Teaching and Learning Center in collaboration with Outcomes and Assessment. And today we are going to be crafting inclusive and impactful courses. At least that's our goal for today. Before we get started with the main, workshop, I'm going to tell you a quick story about a recent excursion that I went on. So here's a picture of me. This was from the fall when I went out to Mount Rainier, and I'm sure you all have been there and hiked these trails, and you know all about this stuff, but and these places, but I haven't been there in a while. And I usually like to plan out my trips and think about, you know, where I'm going to go and what I'm going to do. But for this one, I decided I would just go up, and I was actually with my mom, and she was visiting, and we went up, and we didn't really have a plan. We just knew that we were going to go to the visitor center, this one right here, and then she wanted to go look at the reflection lake. Those were her two goals for today, or for that day. And that was okay, but it didn't really, like, I would have preferred, once we got up there, it looked nice. It was a nice day. But after looking at the map, I would have preferred to have done one of these, you know, nice long hikes up here. I would have preferred if we would have made it to Panorama Point, because I don't think I've ever been there. And so I didn't know about that Panorama Point until I got there, and I looked at the map, and I didn't, we instead of thinking out this plan where, you know, I would go, we would take the Skyline Trail, or maybe we'd take the Golden Gate Trail. Like, it wasn't clear about what the best way to get there would be. I knew that I wanted to get there, but I didn't know the best way. And so I didn't end up getting there. We went to this waterfall, which I think is Myrtle Falls. Maybe someone who's been there more often than me can verify. But I wasn't able to reach my goal because I didn't have a plan. And so that is kind of the basis of what we're going to be talking about today: having a plan and having, you know, or having a destination, and then having a plan of steps to reach that destination. And so, had I done it again, it was this really beautiful day. It was, you know, cloudy all in the morning, and then I kept saying, it's, you know, the clouds are going to burn away. It's going to be a nice day, and then they actually did. But then we didn't get to go. I think this was as far as we got to go, was Myrtle Falls. So, making a plan, important for, you know, taking a hike. Also, I would say important for making a class. And so that's what we're going to do today. We are going to take a hike, not like get out of here, but like take a hike up a mountain. And so I'm going to show you, I know you all probably think I have some infatuation with mountains, but I think it's just a really good, a good visual for everyone to see. And plus it's in our logo, so y'all can't fault me for using the mountain a bunch. But here is our here's kind of our map, our outline for what we're going to do today. So we're going to start with something called action mapping. I'm gonna go over briefly what that is and kind of how I see that relating to the topic of curriculum design. Then I'll talk about a course design flow of, like, the where I feel like you should start and then kind of work down. Then we're going to look at the CLO assessment report, which is something that I'm sure you all have gotten emails from Snowy about. Finishing those CLO reports if you haven't done them yet. Prompt preparations. So after we do this little information section at the bottom, I'll try to go through it pretty quickly because I want to get to this hands-on practice of using the AI tools. And so we'll spend a little time preparing our prompts. A prompt, if you don't know, is what you give to the generative AI. So it's very similar to if you were to make a search into Google, whatever you search into Google, that's your prompt. And so prompting in with large language models, generative AI is a little bit different than just making a search on a search engine. So we'll spend a little bit of time preparing our prompts, and then we're going to get into ChatGPT, and then I'll also have a couple other generative AI tools up, and then we can kind of compare and practice with those. And then our main assessment, our main takeaway here, piece that we want to create is that we want to create one main course learning outcome and then 10 sub course learning outcomes that progressively build towards meeting that main objective. So we'll talk about that more later, but this is kind of our assessment piece. If we can do something like this, then we will have met our outcome, which our outcome for this workshop today is to enhance our curriculum design skills using AI. So I think I'm not sure why you all decided to come, but that is the main, I guess, outcome that I see for this time that we have together here. So we've got a good amount of people here. I want to try to make this interactive. And if you all know me, I like to try to gamify it to try to make it a little bit more interesting and engaging. So to start, maybe y'all can open up the chat because I'm going to have y'all doing some typing in the chat. And while y'all are typing in the chat, I'm going to be writing down some notes. So for the first thing, I want to know, what is the outcome of this workshop? I just told you about it. So 3 points if you can answer the same as what I just put in word for word. 2 points if you can answer it first. So get in that chat and start typing in that outcome that I just told you about. And then if you just if anybody just types in anything at all, then I'll give you 1 point. All right. Go. Yeah. Oh, Poppy with the first answer and the correct answer, the one that I just did on the last slide. So should that have to be 3 plus 2? 5 points for Poppy to start? That seems a little unfair. I'll give Poppy 3 unless she can give me a reason why she should have 5. Jameson, okay.
Because I did it first and I did the right answer.
So 5 points?
I think so.
All right.
I take notes.
I think so too.
All right.
Why
good.
should I not? I did.
I'm happy about it. I'm happy about
Go
it.
for
Okay.
6.
I'm just worried. Oh, and then yeah, plus 6. It should be 6, right, Jeff? Because she did answer at all. I gotta rework my.
I must say I'm competitive, so I go for the gusto.
All right, good. So okay, Poppy, I'm gonna give you 6 points as
All
Jeff
right.
did, because you did answer at all. And so There should be a stipulation that you only get but it's okay. It's okay. Fabi, I'll give you the points. Okay. Diane, I'll give you a point. Lorita, nice to see you in here. I'll give you a point. To create a CLO, that's part of it. That would be our main, not our main outcome. That would be our main assessment point that lets us know if we've reached our outcome, is if we've done this this assessment of creating the CLO, and to get to do less work again. All right. I got y'all for answering at all. Poppy with 5, Diane, Larita, Elizabeth, and Ken with 1. Okay, let's talk about action mapping. So action mapping, as you can see over here in the description, is a streamlined visual approach to instructional design, focusing on the desired business outcome. So this was made for people who are instructional designers in the business field, but I don't see why we can't use the same ideas in education. So the way that it works, it starts by identifying the actions that learners need to perform. So it starts here in the middle with the action. So in this example, y'all can see this is the main action is to increase widget sales. Okay, this is a business thing. Then we design activities to help them practice and master those actions. But actually, this is not a complete description, because you have the main action that they want to do, and then you have the behavior that will reach the goal. I'm saying for this one, since we're in higher education, this would be the assessment piece. This is the here it says the job behavior, that how can we measure that? How can we measure if they've increased their widget sales, right? And so this is I'm thinking of as the assessment part. Realistic practice activities for that behavior. So this hand here, you can think of like hands-on practice. Okay, so if I showed you a couple slides back, that's where we're going to be doing the working on in the generative AI, large language models. You know, we're going to actually be doing it, and you know, we're going to make some mistakes, and you know, some people are going to get it right, some people will get it faster than the other people, but this is where we actually get to practice. And then the information here is you can see here only the essential information for that activity. So we're given, I'll give you all the information that you need so that you can be successful with your practice, or at least, you know, you can practice and hopefully be successful. This will let us know if you are successful, and then if you are successful, then then you've met the outcome. Okay. So that's just a very brief, like 3-minute explanation of action mapping. It's a whole book by Kathy Moore. If you're interested, I think it's a good read on focusing on like the specifics. There's a thing where it says, you know, don't give too much information if you don't need to. Only give the information that you need to give so that they can get to the next stage. Okay. So speaking of stages here, what stage of the action mapping is the hand? Just went over the action mapping and told you about the hand. This one, wait, before you type it in, I'll give you an easy out. All you have to do is type A, B, C, or D. This is a multiple choice. The hand, is that the information stage, the practice stage, the assessment, or the outcome stage? Ken Meerdink with A. That is unfortunately incorrect, but I will still give you your 1 point. Jeff Turner with the correct answer and answering at all. So I'm going to give you, what is that, 4 points? Plus 4. Oh, I guess I shouldn't have said the answer. So, I should have let a couple more results come in, but I'll give Poppy. I'll give you. I guess I'm giving 4 if you answer correctly and at all because of um my lack of clarity on points here. So the business I checked out. I said we don't have to use it for business. So, okay, anyways, moving on. The correct answer was practice. The point standings now, Poppy with 9, Elizabeth and Ken with 5, Jeff and Neil with 4, and Diane and Larita with 1. All right, so I'm going to give you all an example of how I see this working at the college. So Jameson, you can come back and tune back in. So this is an example of kind of that process, the way that I see that process, that where we start from the main outcome, right? The what is this? This part in the middle where we're starting here. The target. Yeah, we'll start with the target, and then we'll work back down from there. And so, like I said, this is an example. I got this inspiration when I went to the cosmetology department and I got my hair changed, the color changed over the summer. And so the main thing that we want to think about when we're starting our curriculum, I'm sure we all have our curriculum and it's all set, but if you're thinking about adjusting it or changing it in any way, then you would want to start from this top level first. Okay, so I like to think about the why, start with the why. And so if I'm looking at this, if I'm doing it in this context of cosmetology and hair design, so if I were a cosmetology instructor, why do I have students? Is because I want my students, they can become hairdressers at the end of their time with me. Then they will be hairdressers, and they will have all the skills required to do that. So I like to think of that, starting from the program level. Then we can move into the outcomes of our of the course. So the different courses are going to have different outcomes. The outcomes I like to think of as the what. So what do you hope the students can do by the end of the course? And then, so for example, if I were to look at this one, students need to be able to dye hair to a specific number, right? So I mean, I'm sure there's much more, but if I were to just like pick one, right? If you have a list of course learning outcomes, maybe this would be one. Students need to be able to dye hair to a specific number. I remember her talking about that to the student that was doing my hair. The assessments are what are going to tell us if they are actually meeting this outcome, right? They're the specific measurable thing that they're going to do. And so how will you measure their progress is the assessment part. And so how will they do it? If we're using the same example, they will dye a person's hair. Neil. All right. And then the assignments part, I would say, so once we have our outcome, we want them to dye the hair. Then we have an assessment where they're going to actually go in and dye the hair. And then the assignments is where you give them activities where they can practice and grow, right? And so this one, instead of dyeing an actual person's hair, then you will dye a dummy's hair. So like you can see this woman here working on this dummy. Okay, so assignments, as y'all know, is like should be low stakes. a chance for them to practice what they're learning, and you know, if they're making mistakes, they can go back and try to fix them in this stage. But then in the assessments, that's where you're really like looking in and say, okay, are you able to do this without making any mistakes? And then the instruction. So then once we have all of that stuff, we know the main outcome, and you know how we're going to measure it, and how the students are going to practice it. Then we can come down to that. In the instruction is that information. That's the information, that base information that they need to know to move on up to complete the outcome. And so students will watch the instructor dye a hair step by step. This is where the instructor comes in and actually shows, you know, this is what you do, and these are all the numbers, and all that kind of stuff. So that's where, I mean, y'all are instructors, so you know what that's all about. So to continue this idea of using the who, what, when, where, why, I've got the who can help down at the bottom to feel comfortable making mistakes and learning, which is what we're here to do, is to help them learn. And that's you. That's where you come in. So this can't be done with AI yet, so don't worry too much. And we're going to get into the AI part in a second. I know y'all are like, why are we still talking about this? But first, we have another question. What stage of the action mapping is the exclamation point? We have another chance for some points here. Right now in the lead, Poppy with 9 points, 10 points. Sorry. Jameson Lee with the practice. Oh, sorry, I didn't give you the letters, but that is actually I'll give you a chance to rethink this. Jeff, what are you saying? The exclamation point?
My notes on your first slide, there was an exclamation point on the information essential for the activity and the behavior that will reach the goal.
Oh, the information was actually a circle with an I in it. I for information. All right, I'm gonna give Jameson 3 points for answering first and answering at all. Jameson, this is your first thing. I need to get on the board, yeah. All right, I'm gonna call it there. I'm seeing a lot of C's. I started with B's, but we did practice already. Practice was the hand, right? The hands-on practice. This one, based on what I was saying earlier, is the assessment part. Okay, so I'll add up the points later. I'll go through and check them. But okay, so that's that. Let's go now and talk about the assessment report for like 2 seconds. I just want to show you all what the focus of this time together here is. We're going to be creating these course learning outcomes and then the sub CLOs. And so the idea behind this workshop is to help you if you haven't done this before, or if you next year in the fall are going to do this again, then maybe you want to pick a new course learning outcome to kind of track. This is to track the progress. And so yeah, that's what we're doing here today. We're going to make some CLOs and some sub CLOs, and maybe in future workshops we'll go over the rest of this stuff, but that is out of the scope of what we're going to do today. Okay, so everybody here that's in here is going to get a little bit of a sneak preview of what we're working on with our upcoming generative AI course. And what we're going to be doing is do some prompt preparations here. So let me go ahead and get this link here. and put it into the chat. So here is a link to a document. Maybe. What is this white? Okay, here's a link to a document. And this document is a Google Doc that like I said, is part of the upcoming course that we're launching on generative AI. Some of you have already been in here before, and so it might look familiar to you. But for some of you, this is brand new. And so what we're going to do, first things first, is we need to make a copy of this document. And so if you are logged into Google, all you have to do is come up to where it says File and then make a copy. So what that'll do is once you make a copy, then you can go in and you can edit it. Right now, this is just a view only. And so you aren't able to directly edit this. If you don't have Google and you don't like Google, what you can do is you can Control A to select everything, and then maybe open up a Microsoft Word document and then paste everything into a Microsoft Word document. I would have done this in Microsoft Word, but I just feel like Google's a little bit more quicker, easier to navigate for me. And so, and I think it's important to go out and explore some more tools. But if, like I said, if you don't like Google, you can just copy and paste everything and open it up, and should just be able to open it up into a Word document, and everything should just copy and paste right over into there.
I have a quick question. Mine, I have Chrome, but it opened it in Edge. How do I don't
Oh,
know how to get it to open
sounds like you have it where everything opens in Edge. If you what you can do then, Poppy, is right click the link at the top and then just open that in Chrome. Or
what?
oh, are you talking about this link for the ChatGPT or the link for
No, the first one, the tinyurl.com one.
yeah. So if you just open
I
up,
go on the URL.
yeah, you can right click the if you right click in the chat where it says if you right click it, it should say copy link in the chat, and then you can just open up
Copy link. And
yeah,
then
and then
I
open it
go
up in Chrome.
to here.
And the formatting is a little bit different, but this is what it would look like if you copy and pasted it into Word. Okay.
Way too many screens open. I can't see.
I can't help you with that, Poppy.
I know.
All right, so like I said, we're going to be using ChatGPT for this one because that one's kind of the, I guess, the standard. I'll bump it down to 3.5. I have GPT-4 because I pay for the Plus subscription, but unless I don't know how many of you all have the Plus subscription. You can do we'll work in ChatGPT 3.5. You can log in. I usually just log in with my Google, since I already have my Google logged into this my browser. And speaking of Google, if you want to try Bard, I will put the actually here, I'll put the link to open up this one for ease of access, but that's also in the document. And then if you are interested in trying out Bard, there's the link for Bard. And then if you are interested in trying Claude, you can try that one out too. They're all pretty much the same, but they just give different results. And in the generative AI course, we'll talk about that, the difference. But like I said, that's a little bit out of the scope of the time that we have here together. So okay, let's go ahead and go through this this document. And so if you're in here, you can scroll down here to where it says prompt number 1. And like I said at the top, the prompt is what you are actually going to be giving the large language model, or LLM for short. And so here where it says message ChatGPT, that's where you're going to be posting the information. So I'll just read this here. This is the kind of the instructions. The following text is the prompt you will modify, copy, and paste into the ChatGPT chat box. The purpose of this first prompt is to train the large language model so that it knows what we are trying to accomplish and explains the process that it's going to use. So copy and paste the following with your data, okay? So if you've made a copy of this, right? I'll go ahead and make a copy so that you don't edit the original. I've added in little sections here, and I've made them bold with the information that you need to change. So let's go ahead and look. I'll read it and explain it, and then you all can start to change it as you see fit. So the first part, it says here you are an expert curriculum and instructional designer, and blank and department faculty member at Clover Park Technical College. So here we're setting the stage. At this point, you get to be me. I'm the curriculum and instructional designer, since we're working on curriculum and subsequently instruction. But then also you want to put that you're a faculty member, so that what we're doing here is we're saying that we're this person, and so what the large language model will do, it will focus in, instead of just typing it in, it's going to have more ready access to instructional design theories like the action mapping that we just talked about. And then the department, put your department in, and then that's going to narrow it down narrow the scope down even further. So actually, I'm not gonna change this, because if you look down below, I've already given an example of someone from the welding department. I've been working with a faculty member named Jose Bazan, and so he is in the welding. So I put him the welding technology faculty member. You will help create course learning outcomes. Oh, so here's the next part. You will help to create course learning outcomes for course. If you look here, this is where you would put in whatever course you're thinking about. If you have a course that you already are teaching that you want to kind of adjust, or just see what the options are, you could put that course in. Or if there's a new course that you're interested in teaching, I've been also working with Jameson. Shout out to you, Jameson, for creating a new course. Well, a course that's there, but creating new, like pretty much a new curriculum for that whole course. And so you can put that one there. The Clover Park Technical College's college-wide learning outcomes, don't worry about that, because I have those. And then okay, so actually here, I keep jumping ahead. I will provide you with, so we've set the role and we've set the goal, right? Roles and goals. The next part is what we're actually going to be doing. We're going to give this information to the large language model, and the information that we're going to give it to kind of help us with that top-down approach is we're going to start with the college-wide learning outcomes. So they're still like being worked on and fine-tuned, but I don't think they're going to change too much from the proposed ones that they proposed at Outcomes and Assessment Day in the fall. And so we're going to provide that, and I have that down here. So don't worry, you don't need to look for those. What you do need to look for is your program's program learning outcomes. And if you have your syllabus, if you have a syllabus on hand for a course, then it should have the program learning outcomes in there. So if I show you an example from the welding, if I look at I was helping with the Weld 106. If I open up this one, I can see here that I've got the program outcomes like right on the second page. So you can just copy and paste those if you have your program learning outcomes. But not right now. We'll need those shortly, but we're not putting them in here yet. Okay, so this section we're not going to change. We're only changing the bold parts. So the department, and we're only changing the course. We're not changing 1 to 3. And number, so let me go to number 3 here. So how to write course learning outcomes. That will be provided based off of the how-to guide that Snowy provided or provides when she sends out the CLO assessment reports. She gives a how to write course learning outcomes guide. And then here is what you need. You need your current syllabus for your whatever course that you're doing. So for example, if I'm doing, this is Weld 106 is welding theory. And then number five is any extra information. So if you have a Canvas module list, if you have a textbook, if you have the chapters, like just any other information that would help to guide the large language model and give it more information. I mean, you could just leave this blank if you don't have any extra information and you just want to see what it does. But some people use a book in their course, and so maybe you want it to follow that same book structure. Okay, maybe you like the way that your modules are set up. Like these are the modules from the Weld 106, and so what I did for this one is I just gave the module list, the full list. And so what I just went in and I copy and pasted this whole thing. So I just went and I dragged it all the way down to the bottom, and then I copied that. So it doesn't have a lot of very specific information. It's all general, but it does give that flow, okay, of the current course. Okay, and so that is those are the things that we're going to give it, not yet, but for prompt number 1, we're letting ChatGPT know that we will give it that information. And then your job is to create one actionable course learning outcome and 10 supporting sub-CLOs that could be used as objectives for each week and that a student could write on a resume upon completion of this course, because the idea is they're in here in school to try to get a job, and it would be nice if we could have course learning outcomes that they could just copy and paste over into a resume. It doesn't necessarily always work that way, but this is just kind of the beginning stage, and we can fine tune it later. Okay, and then it says here, so one thing, especially if you're working with like the free versions of these software, is they have a limit to how much you can post at one time. And so I added this section here to let it know that we're going to be putting it into 2 parts, right? We're going to give you the training data for the first part is going to be 1 to 3. So we're just going to be posting this one in prompt 2. We're going to do 1 to 3. And then when you've taken that data, say ready for the second part. So to confirm, we're kind of it's almost like, well, I want to say programming, but like we're training it so that once it gets the first set of information, then it's going to say, you know, like I got this information, I'm ready for the second part. Then we're going to give the second part, which is the current syllabus, and in this case, the current Canvas module list. Right? Does that make any sense? Does anybody need any clarification on that part? Okay. Silence means everybody understands. So I've learned that from students. Jameson?
I was just gonna say, when I first encountered this, because as you mentioned, I've had the pleasure of seeing it before, it was confusing for me, but I think you explained it better here.
Yeah.
So you
It's
had
almost
some
like I had
practice.
practice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I found it confusing, so I just wanted to mention that in case, you know, I don't know if anyone feels bashful about asking questions. I had a lot of them. So
Yeah, right. And yeah, it was, I think, a little bit more comfortable when it was just you and I, but I mean, this should be a comfortable space. If anybody has any questions, at least you can put them in the chat, right? And I'm explaining all this stuff, but like once we get in there, I think it will be a little bit easier to understand because you'll be able to see what's happening. And so, okay, let me finish this one, and then we'll actually get started. Okay, so can you concisely explain your process to fulfill this request and what you need from me next? So what I'm doing here, just to kind of like put this finisher on this first prompt, is I want it to take this information that I've given it, and then I want it to give me its plan of what it's going to do to fulfill this request. So how is it going, once it has all this information, how is it going to give me the actionable course learning outcome? How is it going to give me the 10 supporting CLOs, sub-CLOs? Okay. And then I want it to tell me what it needs from me next. It should be that it needs 1 to 3, but we'll see. So if you're in whatever document you are in, you can copy and paste this information. And so I'm just going to go ahead and use this same example here for the Weld 106 because I have already the stuff copy and pasted into this document under the examples. And then I'm going to just fire off this prompt in this text box down here and see what it comes up with. So I'm going to do that in ChatGPT. I'm also going to do it in Bard, and I'm also going to do it in Claude, just so that I can see kind of the differences in results, and maybe I can decide which one I'm going to use. But to go back to ChatGPT, so if y'all are doing it, like, let me know if you have a question. You should be in ChatGPT copying with this copied text in ChatGPT, pasting it to see what kind of result it comes up with. So here's the process. So what ChatGPT is going to do, its process is it's going to understand the context. Okay, so that's why I'm giving it the college-wide learning outcomes, program learning outcomes. Then it's going to, let's see, these are overarching goals for the course. So then it's going to go to the CLO. Then it's going to go to the sub-CLO. Okay, sounds pretty standard. Ooh, it says here, develop assessment methods. I like that, outcomes and assessments. I didn't even say anything about that. And then it's going to craft sub-CLOs using language that students can use on their resumes. Okay, now for the first part, provide the CLOs, the PLOs, and the house right. So this was the 1, 2, 3. So it gets it. It's saying that it understands this is the process that the large language model will follow, and then this is what it needs from me. Okay, let's see if Bard does the thing. So part 1, it's going to analyze the college-wide learning outcomes, review the PLOs, and understand the writing principles. In part 2, it's going to analyze the syllabus and the Canvas module. It's going to craft a CLO, and then it's going to have 10 supporting sub-CLOs. What does it need from me next? CWLOs, program learning outcomes, and It doesn't say anything about the third part, the guide. So we'll see. Oh, this one's oh yeah, nice. I said, can you concisely explain it? This is the most concise version here from Claude. Review the college-wide learning outcomes and the PLOs, study the guidelines, analyze the current course syllabus and modules, and then 1, 2, 3. I will draft one overarching course learning outcome and 10 sub-CLOs. Okay. Not bad. I would say this Claude is probably the best out of the three, just because I like how concise it is. Bard is missing the one, and then this is fine. This is just kind of the standard, I would say. All right. So now, hopefully you all have done that. Prompt number 2, we're going to provide the actual data. Okay, so we're going to do 1, 2, and 3, the course, the college-wide learning outcomes, the program learning outcomes, and then the guide. Okay, so as we stated up here, these are the first 3 things that we need to provide. So the course-wide learning outcomes are here. You can just copy and paste those. Poppy, do you have a question?
I do. I'm good at taking notes, but I struggle at when we move so quickly all between all these different programs and pages. And I got lost because how do I open Chat GPT? I had an account that I set up back when we did this in whatever.
Over the summer, or sorry, in the fall in service?
Yeah, one of those. Anyway, so I've been sitting here struggling just opening my Chat GPT thing. So I have no idea.
So same as before, Poppy, when you copy and pasted the link to get to this document, in the chat, I put the link to ChatGPT, chat.openai.com. If you right click and copy that link, then
I did.
maybe you'll have this, you'll be greeted with this one, right?
Yeah, and so I tried to sign in because I have an account and it's not letting me.
Okay, well,
I don't mean to hold everybody up, but that's my.
it's okay. I can help you afterwards.
So I
if
miss
you need help
everything
with that.
you're saying.
But if you continue, I don't know if you have a Google account. What I do is I usually just continue with Google, and then
yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'll just struggle. I'll just figure it out.
if you can go to another one, Bard. I don't know. Like I said, if you have Google, you can use.
I do, but I don't. It's not my main one, so it comes up, and I put in my little notes what I saved it as, and it's not opening. But anyway, so that I'm just saying.
Well, with all of these ones, you have to log in because they're going to keep your like. It's nice because you can come back later, and if you want to keep working on it, they keep the your conversations on the side.
Yeah. So I can't, So anyway, I'm just telling you where I'm at. I have missed a lot of what you said on how to do it all because I was struggling just getting into the program.
This is recorded, so you can go back, you can come back later and check the recording if you want to go over again. And like I said, I have a little bit of time after the main workshop here. If you want, I can go one-on-one with you, but I have to move on for the sake of time. So here are the college-wide learning outcomes. So copy and paste your PLOs. So if you have your program learning outcomes, you can copy and paste them here. And then here is just part of what Snowy sent out, the specific part about how to write the course learning outcomes and then how to write the sub-CLOs, okay? And so I added in at the bottom, remember this is just 1 to 3. When you've taken this data, say ready for the second part, and then I will provide the next part, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and just copy and paste my example prompt. Yours should be the same, except for your PLO should be different, okay? So I'm gonna come and copy and paste all of this stuff. And then I will just paste it right into ChatGPT, Bard, Claude. And let's see what it comes up with.
So
Thank you.
Ronald, we're just doing the first one and the second PL, the C, what does it say? Number one, we're doing number one and number two, or just number one?
So yeah, you should have done number one. Do that one first and then hit enter so that
And then do number two.
then we can move on to the next one.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so yeah, you can see I did the first one here, and then this was the response. And then now I have the second one where I'm actually giving the data, the CWLOs, the PLOs, and the guide here. And it says, thank you for providing the first part. I've taken the notes. Now I'm ready for the second part where you provide the current syllabus and the Canvas module list. Okay, so it's ready now. We can call it, we can say it's primed, right? I understand. Thank you for providing. This information is essential for crafting CLOs. I'm ready for the second part whenever you are. Okay, good. And Claude says, same thing. I'm ready for the second part of the training data. Okay. So this is a really nice skill that has taken me a long time to figure out about splitting up the data. You just have to let it know that you're going to split up the data, how you're going to split it up, and then get a confirmation that it understands that you're going to split the data. Because if I were to just post the college-wide learning outcomes and the PLOs and this, it would just start to try to make the course learning outcomes on its own. Like, unless you're very specific about like, hold on, wait, I'm going to give you this information in this manner, then it's just going to start to try to do it by itself. That's not what we want. We want to give it as much information as we can at the beginning so that later on, it's much more specific and detailed to what you're trying to get it to do. Okay. So, all right. I've given it that information. It seems like it's ready for the second part. So the 4 and the 5, the syllabus, right? So if you have your current syllabus, you can post that one in. Says here, now we can give it the second part. Make sure you to remove any personal information from your syllabus. So maybe take off your name, take off your phone number, right? Those are the things that are usually here at the top. I don't think it needs this section of your syllabus. Maybe just the name of your course, and then this kind of information here. And then if your syllabus is too long, either tell ChatGPT that you'll split it up. So same thing as before, you can split it up the syllabus, or you can only paste the relevant parts to your CLOs. So maybe just go from the course description down to the, let's see here, I would go down to the policies and procedures. So I'll just copy and paste that. And actually, I'm going to do that down here in this one. So we're on prompt 3 now, syllabus. I'll just go ahead and copy and paste it there. Okay. So here is this. It doesn't matter the formatting. It doesn't matter if there's like any extra stuff in there. It's going to be able to parse it out. It's better if you can, like, you know, kind of take out any of the extra stuff, but I'm trying to give you all like the basic, you know, like all you have to do is just copy and paste it over. Okay. And then the same thing here for the modules list. So especially this one, if you look here, if I copy and paste this in here. Oh, that's actually not what I like.
And you can really put that much stuff in it all at once?
So it looks like a lot, but this is a lot of blank space. Like you can see, like it, you know, this is 7 lines, but there's only like, if I were to do it all into one thing, right? Like if I were to go like this, it would only be 2 lines of information.
Yeah,
So
this is great. Yeah, this is great. Thank you.
We'll see, Larita. We'll see if it figures it out, but we'll try it. We'll try it. So okay, I'm gonna copy and paste the syllabus that I just copy and pasted into this document. I'm going down, and then this part here is the welding principles. And actually, I forgot to mention this. It's good practice. If you put, like, if I say I'm putting the syllabus in here, if I put this part in parentheses, right? So I start here and then I finish here, then that's another clue to ChatGPT that this is the start of this thing and then this is the finish. So same thing here. I'll copy and paste this, and then so I'll add I'll add it in here. So
say that again, please.
you can put parentheses before and after what you paste in. So let me sorry everybody, I know this is not very nice to look at as I'm going through very quickly. If you put these parentheses here, like, do you see I put the parentheses before the course description, and then I put a parentheses at the end of my syllabus as kind of a thing to let ChatGPT know that this is the start of my syllabus and this is the finish of my syllabus in the parentheses. I mean, you might be able to
quotation marks, right? Right, Ronald?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
I'm ahead of myself in my brain. You could also do parentheses, right? So you have this one here, or you have this one here at the end. But I don't know, I feel like that is used a lot. It's used a lot more than quotation marks. And did I write here quotation marks? Did I write parentheses? I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna paste this in and to each of these ones and see if it actually can read it. Sometimes it'll say it's too long, and if it's too long, then you have to go in and, like I said, chop it up. But let's see what it does. Let's see what it comes out with. So thank you for providing the syllabus and Canvas modules. I will create the actionable course learning outcomes. So upon completion of the welding principles and application, students will be able to, okay, this took a different approach than I thought. Differentiate between individual welding and cutting processes, their equipment and applications. And then it gave me some sub CLOs for that. Safely use common types of shop equipment. Okay, so I would have to talk with Jose to see if he thinks these are good good CLOs and good sub CLOs, because I don't know anything about welding. But I would say a good start here. And then, okay, let's see. I have everything I need to get started on crafting your CLOs and sub CLOs. Thank you for providing me with the thing. Oh, okay. And so actually, this has happened with me before in Bard before, where it says that it's ready, but then, so I'm gonna say, so please give me the CLOs and sub CLOs. Okay, and then let's see here. So course learning outcome, apply fundamental welding theory, tools, equipment, and processes to demonstrate essential skills for an entry-level welder. I actually like this one. And then here are the sub CLOs. Identify the common welding tools, interpret welding drawings and symbols. So once again, I would have to talk with him about that. All right, so sorry, I got a little bit sidetracked at some parts of this. We're actually out of time. So what I will do, I'm gonna end it there. And then we'll kind of look back here and see this is what we talked about today. I gave you all the information at the beginning. We had the chance to practice, and then hopefully you were able to create a course learning outcome and 10 sub CLOs. I'll stay on extra time if you need some extra help with anything. But for the main part of the workshop, I want to thank you all for coming in and taking the time on this Friday. And I hope you are able to enhance your curriculum design skills using AI. And for points, if we were to go back to the points here, I wasn't able to add the last round of points, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Poppy because Poppy had the most points, I would say. I don't know what they are yet,
I
but
deserve it, but
great job, Poppy. And great job, everybody else, for participating.
Thank you so much. I've learned a lot. I'm going to definitely practice with it. This is amazing. I appreciate it, Ronald.
You're welcome. And Larita, let me know if you run into any problems. I can help you with those. Okay.
Will do. Take care, everybody.
You too.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I think what I'll do is figure out my Google account. I don't know why I can't get into it, but this was really
I can help you if you have some time. I can try to help you figure some of that stuff
well,
out.
let me.
I know about Google. I actually probably know Google more than Microsoft. So
Well, I asked it to reset my password. Problem is when I go into Google, I use my AOL account.
oh.
I don't know, maybe Diane can help me. Do I have what do you use when we do the